What's the harshest punishment that you remember receiving as a child?
The harshest?
The harshest punishment. And maybe it's not physical. Maybe it was something that got taken away from you that you felt like was super extreme and really hard for you to handle.
Fuck, yeah. I was spanked all throughout my childhood, but it was never, it never, I mean, it never, I never bled. I never had bruises that I had to deal with for a long time, for days. Didn't have to ice anything, nothing like that. Got spanked all the time. If you ask my parents, me out of the 4 brothers, I got spanked the most. I was the worst. I was the worst child. I was either 10, 11. I was younger than 12, and I humped the piano to make my brothers laugh. I thought it'd be funny if I humped the piano, and it was funny. They laughed. So I was humping the piano, and then my parents came out of the bedroom, which the bedroom was right next to the piano, and I don't know how they got to this. I guess maybe I had just started listening to non-Christian music recently, but they decided that the reason I thought to hump the piano to make my brothers laugh was because I wasn't listening to Christian music anymore. I was listening to, I think, Limp Bizkit was really big at the time. Eminem had just, that first album of his had hit. Linkin Park, Britney Spears, all those were coming around. And they decided that it was because of non-Christian music. So I was grounded from listening to non-Christian music. And that being grounded lasted until I was old enough to have a car.
Wow.
So for 4 or 5 years...
Were your brothers still allowed to listen to non-Christian music?
Daniel was too young, so he wasn't allowed to, but my older brothers, they were allowed to. The only reason I could hear non-Christian music was because my older brothers they had it, and that's how I heard it. They knew the radio stations and stuff. So I think it was one of those cases where they grounded me from it, then they forgot that they grounded me from it. But I would have to, sneak listen to it. So my dad, when him and my mom first started drifting apart, he started buying a lot of, he bought the Eminem albums and stuff. He'd have this little silver truck, and at night I would take his keys and I would sneak out there and turn on the, not the full car, but I'd turn on just enough to make the CD player play. And I'd listen to Eminem for hours and hours and hours. And that's when I started wanting to rap all the time. Because the only non-Christian music that I really listened to was just the Eminem album over and over and over and over. Because I was mad and I wanted to listen to something. So I'd sneak out into the truck and I'd listen to that just
there were
all
worse
the time.
things you could have listened to.
Yeah, there were. And I'd still be able... I'd still hear non-Christian music. But I wasn't able to buy CDs and stuff like that. But when we drove places... My dad would like to listen to Whitney Houston. My dad loved Whitney Houston. We listened to Air Supply and stuff. So,
do you feel like that punishment was justified?
No, what the fuck? You don't ground someone from listening. Yeah, my parents, and I love my parents, but they were always bad about explaining why this certain punishment fits the situation. And I think that happens from having 4 kids and there's so much he said, she said going on. I lied a lot about stuff that didn't actually happen.